Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Gen AI Talk in 10. This is a new video series brought to you by SS&C Blue Prism. And, Gen AI is not anything new, but there are so many things about it that can create confusion. And the space itself is rapidly evolving. It feels like each day something new comes out about Gen AI, a new acronym or a new flavor of Gen AI. And so we thought we would create a video series to touch on these various points of it, to provide people with another resource they can take advantage of to help them understand it and embrace it. These are 10-minute episodes, as the name implies. So they're short and sweet and digestible. And for this journey, I'm going to be joined by Mr. Satish Shenoy. Hello, Satish. We are going to be your co-host on each of these videos. So let us tell you a little bit about ourselves, and then we'll talk about the various topics we're going to cover on this series. So my name's Brad Hairston. I have been with SS&C Blue Prism for about 6 years. Prior to that, I spent about 30 years in the consulting industry. And my job within SS&C Blue Prism is to support our partners and other internal groups within SS&C Blue Prism to really help our customers and help those we're engaging with in the market take advantage of enterprise AI, which is what we are all about. So bringing that to life through technologies like RPA, like BPM, or intelligent document processing, process mining. There are so many different technologies that are enabling companies to drive efficiencies and improve customer and employee experience and reduce costs. The benefits go on and on. So that is my role within SS&C Blue Prism. I also co-host our podcast, which is called Transform Now. We hope you'll check out that as well. But let me turn it over to Satish. Satish, why don't you provide an introduction?
Thank you, Brad. Excited to be here, everyone, and co-host this with Brad. So my name is Satish Shenoy, and like Brad, I've been at SS&C Blue Prism for the last 6 years. Before Blue Prism, I spent about 25 plus years building, leading, and growing enterprise teams through partnerships. I've scaled early stage startups to Fortune 500 companies across multiple cities, countries, and continents. I currently lead our technology partnerships team as the Regional Vice President of Technology Alliances. Over the last 18 months or so, I've also expanded my role to include the global AI practice leadership from a go-to-market standpoint. Now, as part of that role, I have the privilege, along with my team, to support many customer briefings and engage with our partners, speak at events, and really bring the magic of Gen AI and SS&C Blue Prism and what it can do from an impact standpoint to our customers, our prospects, and partners. I'm delighted to be part of this series with Brad, and thanks again for the opportunity.
Great. So what can you look forward to in this series? So we're going to start by talking about the basics. What is generative AI? How is it different from traditional AI, which has been around for many years? We're going to talk about the top terms in Gen AI, a lot of new acronyms, a lot of new terminology that can create confusion. We'll talk about the challenges of Gen AI. We'll talk about the risk, which industries are really making the biggest strides here in the early going by leveraging Gen AI. We'll talk about the leading use cases. This is probably going to be our most popular episode, I think, Satish. So everyone wants to know, what are the use cases? How are companies putting this into play right now? And what does that look like going forward? And we'll also talk about the benefits. How do you measure the benefits of Gen AI? It's so powerful, and it's really helping companies go further than they've ever gone in terms of automations. So how do you measure that? And what are companies finding to be the most effective ways to measure it?
Well, that's great, Brad. We'll continue this series. So we are not limited to the number of things we are stating here. but we'll continue this series. And, we are going to also talk about things like large language models. You've heard of LLMs, as they know. You've heard of these many, many LLMs, thousands of them actually at this point that exist. So which LLM is the best LLM, right? Most customers will ask you that. What's the data requirements, in terms of Gen AI? What's the foundation that any customer, any business needs in order to maximize the use of Gen AI? Then there are topics like multimodal models, right? And so, you'll see that, and you'll hear more about this during that episode, but there are different types of models. Most people, when they talk about LLMs, will think text, but it's important to realize there's audio, video, and even things like music, right? So that's being used. Then we'll also talk about what are the different ways in which Gen AI is being consumed, not just by individuals, which we know a lot of us do, but also more importantly, by companies. How are they using it? How are they combining it with what Blue Prism has to provide, right? So SS&C Blue Prism, as you know, is a leader in the orchestration and automation space. So we complement the Gen AI technology really well. So how do we do that? So that, you are able to communicate that back to customers, prospects, and partners. How do you effectively leverage Gen AI at scale? What are some of the regulations? You might have heard recently that California and other states in the US have introduced AI-based regulations for companies. What does that mean, right? How should companies change and react to all that is happening in the regulatory space? Does it matter that regulations are in Europe because a lot of the companies are global? Then, things like the responsible AI framework. Our customers are embracing these frameworks. So how does Blue Prism and Gen AI fit within that framework? So these are some of the topics. Anything else, Brad?
Yeah, along with responsible AI, we'll talk about explainability. That's another term that comes up a lot with regard to Gen AI, because a lot of the outcomes from Gen AI are hard to explain. It's hard to know exactly how it got to a particular decision or an output. So that's something we'll delve into. And then we'll also talk about just the impact on the human race of Gen AI. How does it augment human intelligence? What is the reinforcement learning human feedback model? What does that mean? That's another big acronym that people are hearing. How can you get smarter on it and put it into practice fairly quickly? So we'll touch on all those things. And then one of the new kind of hot terms that's come out that we will absolutely cover is agentic AI. So this is the starter list. We expect it will grow over time, and we want to hear from you. You're welcome to respond in the comments to any of the videos that we publish and suggest or request us to cover another aspect of Gen AI, and we will take it under consideration and hopefully add it to the list. So this is a starting point only, but it's a lot to cover. And Satish, I look forward to doing this with you in the weeks to come. We'll publish these videos as quickly as we can. We hope they will be useful to you, and we'll see you next time on Gen AI Talk in 10.